Hey guys, it's Matt Gozer from GamersCast and youtube.com/MattGCPC. Now ordinarily for videos like this I give a personal story and I start ranting about what's something that happened to me. Well, I decided to mix this segment up a bit and just rant about just general things, because if I just did personal anecdotes all the time I wouldn't have much content to put out, as you've already noticed on this channel. So now I'm going to completely bitch about something else that just pissed me off that a certain company or individual did. So in this case, I would like to say and pose this question to all of you. What the fuck is up with Nintendo? Now, you guys may remember that a while back ago on my other YouTube channel, I put out a video called What the Fuck is Wrong with Nintendo? This is what the fuck is up with Nintendo. Because it's not that there's necessarily something wrong with them, it's the fact that something is weird with the way that's up with them. There's something wrong with them. That it's not wrong, but it's different. Now, a lot of the time, Nintendo has been compared to Apple in many respects. And this video, and from what I've just heard, it's going to make them even more similar in yet another respect, in the fact they are going to be putting out overpriced pieces of shit. Now, don't get me wrong, Nintendo puts out amazing products. Apple, not so much. But as far as the 3DS goes, it was released in an estimate that the Nintendo 3DS costs under $100 to make. And yet, here in the United States, they are charging $250 for it. And, to make things worse, this is the cheapest region they are releasing the 3DS in. Everywhere else across the world, it can be over $100 more than here. Like, more than $350 US dollars in some locations. I don't know what the conversions are, but for me, knowing the US monetary system, that is a lot of freaking money for something that costs under $100 to make. Now, Nintendo also stresses, and you have to realize, it's the only practical form of glasses-free 3D that we have to experience right now at this time, without having to wait years and years for the glasses-free 3D to become practical on television sets. But, as it stands, should we really be yanking the price up that much more? Now, think of this. When the Wii was first in its conceptual stages, Nintendo said they wanted to make a system that was accessible to everyone. And as such, they said originally their target goal was to make the system $99. A $99 system was their target. What did they do? They added more. They actually made it somewhat unique and intuitive. And then they raised it to $200. Then they jacked it up the extra $50 because they said they wanted to stay competitive. And at the time I was like, alright, I can kind of see that. But now there's really no competition, no precedent to go upon, because there are no other this-gen portables with a price that came out before them. They set the pace for this, which is not a good thing, especially with the NGP coming soon. With a quad-core processor in that thing, no matter what price they put out, it's going to seem somewhat reasonable of winning comparison to this thing. Now think about this. They're making, in the US, they're making more than $150 profit per 3DS system. Now, that is a lot. If we go back to 2005, you may remember that Microsoft was actually lost money per Xbox unit sold during their launch period. And they were fully expectant on their launch, their games, their solid titles, to drag them through and get the profit that they needed in order to meet sales and get their numbers. Not Nintendo, because if you may remember, a lot of sites are calling this one of the worst game launches because there are no system sellers, there are no killer apps, there are no, console sellers, there are nothing that makes you really want the system bad like there was in the Wii launch. There was a ton of stuff that came out, a ton of stuff. Red Steel, back then it was expected to be amazing, so that still counts as something that was to be amazing. They had Twilight Princess, they had Wii Sports, there was a lot of stuff coming strong. Actually, Brawl and Corruption and Galaxy were also originally expected to come out with the DS launch. Wii launch. Can you imagine that? And now with this launch, there is nothing Nothing that is really worth going out for. So now, this Sunday, when I pick up my 3DS, I'm buying it with Super Monkey Ball 3D. Just to say, hey, I bought a game with it. Now, maybe I'm going too far with this, but the fact of the matter is, it's my opinion. In my opinion, they shouldn't have made it a system that expensive. And now, when I remember earlier I said it's like the Apple's strategy, well, realize Apple's new iPad 2, over $700, that same iPad cost them $300 to develop. So they're making about roughly $400, maybe a little less, give or take, for each iPad 2 sold. That is fucked up. And I'm really hoping Nintendo doesn't go down that route, because they had the right idea at first. Make it a really, really cheap game console, $99. That's amazing. That's a good strategy to have. Microsoft also had an amazing strategy. They're losing money per console because they knew their games would be enough to get them the sales they needed. Sony, I'm pretty sure they were losing money too out of their launch, but as you remember there, they didn't really have a solid game lineup, so they almost went bankrupt for a little bit there, but they're good now. So, what do you guys think about this? Am I taking this way out of hand, or is Nintendo kind of fucked up here? I don't know. Comment below, let me know what you think, and yeah, I definitely want to make a lot more videos for this channel relatively soon. So, until next time, Matt Goals from GamersCast and YouTube.com/MattGCPC, and I'll catch you next time.